Hello YouTube, welcome back to the video. Welcome back to the channel. Bit of a more serious video today, I suppose. The topic is, hold on. The topic is going to be the last 6 months of my life. Mainly everything around my ACL injury. And I hark on about it a lot over on all my social medias, I suppose, but it's the main thing in my life at the moment. I originally had a different style of video planned for this completely. So I was in the gym. Today is Wednesday. I was in the gym on Monday doing an ACL rehab session, and I had mic'd up, brought the camera, and was chatting during the full thing, and it was about an hour long. The whole session was, but the video would have been about 15 or 20 minutes long. And I was looking back on the footage today, going edit it and stuff, and I wasn't happy with it. Well, number one, because I was out of breath for half of the clips, and number two, because the audio wasn't great whatsoever. And the mics were cutting in and out, there was music on in the background, there was weights going, different things like that, and I just wasn't happy with it. Plus, I would have had to sit down because it got cut off through about 3/4 of the session because the camera died as well. So I would have had to do a sit down part anyway, so I've decided that's what I'm going to do for the full video. It's not going to be just me talking like this. I am going to play a lot of footage as we go on. But I suppose I'm going to keep this camera rolling as well, because if I do cuts and stuff, it's going to be even longer. Yeah, so I'll start from the beginning, I suppose. 6 months ago would it be around April time, and I suppose I'll just build up the story from there. Mainly ACL stuff, a lot of mental health stuff, a lot of life stuff, and different things like that. And we will pop straight into it. So let's start at the beginning. I play Gaelic football, GAA. Everyone probably knows that. I don't think there's any people that watch this that don't actually know me. I could be wrong, but I play football and I enjoy it. It's grand. I'm not great at it, but fucking forget about it. In April, the end of April, in training, got a pretty bad injury. And for a lot of athletes, I suppose, or soccer players, football players, hurlers, rugby players and stuff, you hear of cruciates in the knee. And it wasn't something that I would have been familiar with whatsoever, because I had no real reason to look into it. I knew a few people that had done them, different things like that, friends of mine, but obviously you never really think about it too much unless it hits home closer to you. But anyways, we were training on a Tuesday night there at the end of April, and I was on the ball in a backs and forwards game situation thing, and just got bad tackle, I suppose, and just felt my knee go straight away. I felt a crunch, couldn't put any weight in it. I was in a lot of pain initially on the ground, couldn't really get my breath, I was in shock, and initially, it was pretty sore, I suppose. First of all, couldn't get up off the ground, couldn't straighten it, couldn't bend it, couldn't walk on it, and it was quite sore for about 4 or 5 minutes, and then it kind of got a bit better. But I felt a crunch, and I knew it wasn't good. I was going to drive home. I was walking off the pitch, and my knee kept buckling inwards. So as I was walking, it just wouldn't support my weight. And I just remember bawling, crying, walking across the pitch, trying to get back to my car, because I kind of knew then that it was something more serious. Initially, I was kind of convincing myself, oh, it's just a bang, it's just a bit of a knock, a bit of a sprain, I said. But when that happened, then, my head kind of clicked. I was like, oh fuck, this is not good. And that was tough to take. I remember getting home, walking into the kitchen, or limping into the kitchen. I got my cousin to drop me home from training. I remember walking into the kitchen, hobbling in. My eyes were still kind of watery, and I remember Mum was in the kitchen and stuff, and she goes, "Oh fuck, what's wrong?" Like, and I was just like, "Oh, my knee is fucked, basically." And long story short, I went to sleep that night. I actually slept really, really well that night. I wasn't in that much pain. It was definitely sore, but I actually wasn't like throbbing pain. I didn't take any painkillers or anything. Slept like a baby that night. I got up around 8 or 9 the next morning to go straight into A&E, because when I woke up, my knee had completely been swelled up. Was in A&E all that day, waiting on an MRI scan. Got it done that day, luckily, and knew by around 4 o'clock the following day, so this would have been Wednesday, doctor said complete tear of the anterior cruciate ligament, or your ACL, no meniscus damage, a deep tear in my patellar tendon, which is the one that goes across your kneecap, so from your quad, I suppose, to your shin, and keeps that kneecap. was a deep tear in that, but it wasn't completely torn. And he told me I had an impacted fracture on my femur, which is running through the top of your leg. So he went from there. I didn't really take it. Didn't really settle into me that this was. I was like, oh yeah, I knew my cruciate was gone. It was so sore, but I hadn't really settled in. And I suppose going home from the hospital, it was good to know. He said, yeah, surgery is your only option. He said, you're gonna have to get surgery to fix that fracture before you can even go at your ACL. He told me never to go back to sport. He said, find a new job, because I was a gym instructor, a personal trainer. He said, find a new job and kind of rethink things, how you want to go about things. He said, there's no point going back to GA. He said, with the fracture and things, he said, arthritis can come in. And he said, maybe if you're a professional rugby player or a professional soccer player and you had on-call doctors and physios, he said, maybe. But I honestly don't think this doctor knew what he was talking about, because straight away when he was telling me that, I just remember thinking in my head, I was like, this is a load of shit. Like, I'm going to be back. People have done so much worse. I was like, I'm just going to come back as normal. Like, and I suppose initially it didn't really settle in that much. So this was April time, and I think the following week was pretty tough. Sitting at home, leg was in a brace, couldn't move it. Getting a lot of messages, couldn't really work. At the time I was working for myself, doing social media, online coaching, personal training from my own gym, and I couldn't really continue that. So I had to put a pause on the people I was working with. I didn't really make a whole lot of content for a couple of days until I felt ready to, or I knew where I wanted to take my content now that I couldn't walk. And so things like that, everything took a bit of a stir. So it was a mad week or two. Where do I go from here? Sorry, I've lost my train of thought. Yes, the following week then got called from the HSE, which is kind of the public health in Ireland, and I had to go through them for referrals for different things. And they'd rang me back and said, there's no fracture in your upper leg, or else the fracture in my upper leg was going to heal on its own. I'm pretty sure they said it wasn't fractured, or that basically don't worry about that. It was one or the other, but I'm 90% sure that they said it wasn't even fractured. They just said it was bruised and stuff. So initially that was actually brilliant. That was about a week after, and that was brilliant news. That meant I could straight away get on a list for ACL surgery, and I didn't have to worry about the fracture, because that was massive. That took about 6 or 7 months straight away off everything, and that kind of lifted my mood. The next 2 weeks after that then were really tough. Didn't have any surgery date, didn't have any kind of that, nothing to work towards, sitting at home all day, food was shit, well, my nutrition was shit, sorry. Didn't really do any uppers for a week or two, and then we got into it. I got a surgery date then at the middle of May, so about 3 or 4 weeks after this has all happened. Haven't moved in any way. I was getting told not to put weight in it, I was getting told to start walking on it, I was getting told not to bend it, I was getting told to bend it, which was the most frustrating thing I can think of. Different opinions, people telling me to do this or do this because this will move me forward, this will set you back, and I had no idea. So I just needed to get told what I needed to do, basically. I met with the physio then, because like I had no idea what was happening. I was like, am I going to be on crutches until surgery or what? But apparently I can walk, and I had started walking and trying to get a bit more all the time, but I didn't know. And met with a physio. He gave me some exercises to do, range of motion stuff, so getting that joint moving, getting some strength in the leg, and very, very simple stuff. And I suppose the best thing that happened then was I got a surgery date for the end of June. So around mid-May, about 3 weeks after, I got a surgery date for the 30th of June up in Santry in Dublin. And then that was when things kind of got a little bit better. Somewhere in the middle of that, I had applied for a new job, got the job. They were graceful enough, I suppose, to take me on, even though I was injured. I was in a brace at the time, so I was very limited in my mobility. My mood was shit, but I had gotten a job in a gym, and I just started back driving. So leaving the house was good, getting a job was good. It gave me something to focus on that wasn't just my leg. So I had no sport going, that was my self-improvement. I had no gym going, and then getting a job was massive help, because it took my mind off it, gave me something to put my energy into, and to be honest, it was just a distraction from life. It was get in there, focus on that, bang bang bang. I was working there for 4 weeks. 5-6 weeks, I suppose, leading up to the surgery, and during those time I was doing 2 or 3 hours of rehab every single day. My knee was in a lot of pain, it was weak, I couldn't really stand on it for longer periods of time, or I'd start falling, or I'd even just be standing on it chatting like this and it'd just go from under me. So you kind of had to manage it there. I was doing a lot of icing, I was doing a lot of gym work, and I suppose in the week or the 2 weeks building up to the surgery, I had started doing a bit of research on different options and different things like that. And in the build-up surgery, like the week before, my knee was actually pretty good. I was able to walk, I was able to drive, I was able to work, and really I was just kind of prepared for surgery. My muscles were in a good enough position, and then I think that week then I just kind of stopped working, got ready for the surgery, and made the trip up to Dublin the day before. Got the train up, had eaten a lot of food. I'd watched a podcast or something where I kind of different nutrition around the surgery. And then my surgery, I was supposed to check in at 8 a.m. on the day. And I got in at 8 a.m. I'd say by 15 minutes later I was in the bed with a gown on, ready for surgery. And in my room, in the bed, watching TV, kind of chilling out. And to be honest, I fell asleep. I wasn't nervous whatsoever. Absolutely zero. I was like, thank God this day is here. I was like, this is going to be good. We'll just get this done and we'll go from there. So this is the day I've been looking forward to. The place was great. I was in there again, 8:30, fell asleep until around 10, I think. And they woke me up and a nurse came in to kind of go through what was going to happen. Had the surgery at some point that day. I don't really know because I was in and out of sleep, and general anaesthetic and stuff kind of fucked with me. Going into the surgery, remember lying down on the table, remember chatting to the surgeon, drew a line on my leg where he was going to cut, and then that was it. Woke up 5-6 p.m. that night, very, very sick, nauseous, but overall not bad at all. Chatting to them, they do the little test. I was in there, I got out the next day, so stayed overnight after the surgery, got out the next day around 10 a.m, made the trip back to Galway, which is like a 2-hour drive. And then just got home basically and did absolutely nothing. My leg was wrapped up, there was a good bit of swelling, good bit of pain, and overall my body was just shagged. So yeah, there was about a week. The goal of the first week was just not to put any pressure on the leg, get a bit of movement into it, get a bit of strength, but overall you just had to sit for the entire day. So I was getting up out of bed at 12 o'clock, 1 o'clock in the day, getting downstairs, eating a bit of breakfast, and then just sitting on the couch for the entire day. Because I was on crutches, couldn't really move, and just that's all I could do. That was probably the toughest couple of weeks. Well, actually not really, but it was a tough couple of weeks. And I'd say for 2 or 3 weeks I was on crutches. For the first 2.5 weeks I did not leave the house, I'd say once. And then as soon as I started feeling able to, or physically and mentally able to, I started going to different places, going to matches, maybe going to the cinema, still on crutches, and different things like that, just trying to pass the time. Because again, I'd no work, no sport, whatever. At this time I'd started making a little bit of content as well. So that was a tough couple of weeks. That was all of July, let's say that was all of July. Then I got off crutches early August and actually went on holidays in the first week of August. I did a bit of gym work out there. I did all my rehab out there, in fairness. At this point I was walking before I left, I was driving before I left, and I had not been back to work yet. Mid-August then, I still hadn't gone back to work. I was in a lot of pain with the knee, a lot of swelling in the knee, and I just meeting with my physio pretty much every week, trying to get full range of motion, trying to be able to walk basically properly, get off the crutches all the time. Up to that point they'd kind of on and off, and that was the focus for August. Worked really, really hard then to get back to work, to try and get on my feet again, phased back to work. That was the last maybe 4 weeks. It's been going okay. And in this time, we're in September now, we're talking about, it's been really, really fucking tough. It just seems to be going up and down and up and down and up and down and up and down, but you'll notice the trend line is positive. So like if we started here after the surgery, you go up a little bit, down a lot, up a little bit, down a lot, up, down, but eventually you're going up and down up here instead of down here. So the trend line has been pretty positive. Over the last 4 weeks I have been doing stuff in the gym actually, which was a massive help. Up to that point I'd just been doing bodyweight stuff at home with bands and icing and range of motion, But then once I got into the gym and started doing weights, you can literally see the progression. Even if you're not feeling it, if you're lifting a heavier weight, you have progress. So I started doing leg press, leg extensions, leg curls, and that was a massive jump because it felt a bit more normal. Going back to work was really tough. Knee was pretty sore, range of motion, different things like that playing on you. And then it all kind of caught up with me in the last couple of weeks, hence why I wanted to make this video, because I would say the first 2 weeks in September, even the third one, like that was like 2 weeks ago, they were absolutely the toughest. It was all work, it was all rehab, and wasn't seeing my friends, different things like that, and life was just pretty fucking shit, if I'm being honest. That was a low point for like 2 weeks. Really tough to kind of motivate yourself to get it done, even though I was seeing a lot of physical progress with it. But it was just really tough. Not playing any football, not seeing the people that you play football with. Wasn't going out because I don't enjoy that kind of way. Like, sport was my out, I suppose. Tried to put it myself into work and my social media. Probably did a bit too much, if I'm being honest. And then just kind of got fucked up with that as well, because I wasn't happy with what I was doing. And so I kind of had to take a step back, realise what I was at, and readjust kind of way. Find another way of, I don't know. But they were probably the toughest 2 weeks, and that kind of brings us up to now, I suppose, where I'm back at work. I'm not back completely full-time yet. I'm still doing, not back full-time. And physically my knee is doing really well. Mentally I'm doing okay. Like I'm not saying I was bad, like, but I'm just saying it was tough for a while. It was just like, fuck, this is a bad patch, like how do I get out of this kind of way, like. But it was like, see, normally let's put it in perspective. Normally in life, early in the year, I'd say I was up around 85-90% of where I could be in terms of mental health. Literally probably peak, because you're never going to be above 90% for that long, like. I would say consistently I was like 7 out of 10 happiness, 8 out of 10 happiness, and then August, September time there, I'd say I was like 4 or 5, I'd say 4, 2, 3 being bad. Never have been that bad ever. I'm not saying this is serious, I'm just saying for me it was just a low point, that's all. And yeah, you just kind of had to take a step back, get a new perspective, and just realise that you're moving forward. That was all. It was just kind of got a bit flustered, got a bit whatever. And that brings us up to now. My strength is pretty good in the knee, in the lower body. I'm doing 3 lower body days a week in the gym. Made good progressions onto some single leg stuff. Seeing really good results out of that. And doing 2 upper body days a week as well. And I won't say like I'm feeling fully content. I'm not. But I feel like I'm doing everything in my control to move forward. And if that means doing gym sessions, if that means making videos, trying to get your social media going, trying to keep up with my online stuff and trying to progress at work. You know, I do have a lot going on, but at the same time I don't, because it's work, whether that's for me or for my employer, or it's rehab for my knee. And then other than that, on the off time, it's either go out drinking, which I don't like doing, or don't really see my friends, and then it's like you're just switching on for that stuff and then you have nothing else going on. Whereas when I had sport and stuff, you know, that was your out. And so I don't know what I'm trying to say, but I'm just like, it just felt like it was either work or it was rest, because when you were working you couldn't do your normal stuff. Or when I work, yeah, you want to be able to kind of relax then, but I couldn't do my relaxing stuff because after work my knee be fucked, or after rehab my knee be fucked. So I literally be like, I can't go anywhere the next 2 days because I need to rest my leg. And that was tough. And it is tough. That's still the case, like. And so you kind of have to figure out what you want to do, where's your off time, and how are you going to move forward mentally and stuff. In 4 weeks time I'm getting tested in Dublin, which is like my first test, and that'll be 4 months post operation, and that's what I'm working towards now for the next 4 weeks. Just taking off my gym sessions, getting my nutrition right and getting my sleep. Again, I'm not going to be really seeing that much of my friends unless I see them in the gym or we go for food or something, but when they're all in college and you're working, it gets difficult. Yeah, but other than that, like, I'm feeling, I suppose, pretty positive towards the next couple of weeks. Hopefully I see good strides in like what I'm able to do, get back to normal life, whatever that means, and then hopefully the testing goes well, and hopefully get back kind of on a pitch or something running before the end of the year. Realistically, as a whole, since it's happened, it's just been up and down and up and down. I wouldn't say it's been a tough experience. I definitely would not say it's been an easy experience, and I'm not even really halfway through it. So I'm like 3 months in. Realistically, it's going to be at least 9 months good going, back to full normality March, April time next year, and then whatever I have to do after that to continue and not risk re-injury or try and mitigate the risk, I'll cross that bridge when I get to it. But I suppose the reason I wanted to make this video is because I'm going to make one again before the end of the year, just for myself to look back at. Like, it's good for me to be putting all this onto something or just talking out loud, and I'm not really afraid of saying it. I'd say this to anyone, hence why I'm putting it on YouTube. Like, I'm trying to just open myself up a little bit or whatever, I don't know. I'm just trying to be honest, I suppose. And like, I'd happily say this to anyone. If someone asked me how I was the last couple of weeks, I would have said fucked. I wouldn't hide it. Like, that's why. And if you're putting it on social media, you're not going to hide it. Like, but yeah, the goal for the next 4 weeks again is just the same thing, except trying to be a little bit more mentally there. The goal is to progress physically, lower body, do my upper body sessions just to kind of enjoy, because I like the gym. Try and nail my nutrition, try and get back to full-time work and try and perform well in that. And then I need to find something to switch off. I need to find a hobby that's nothing to do with fitness. I need to find a hobby that'll just let me relax. It has nothing to do with professional, it has nothing to do with financial, because I feel like it's just go, go, go. And originally that would have been sport, but obviously that's not an option right now. So that's kind of going to be my focus for the next 3 or 4 weeks. Where can I tune out? Where can I turn off? Where can I just enjoy myself? And whether that's with friends or something I do on my own, I don't know, but I will update it in due course. And I want it to be separate from fitness, because I work in the fitness industry. My social medias are all around fitness, and I don't want that to be like my full identity either. So I need to kind of get something going outside of that. And this video, I suppose, was literally just to kind of put it all out there, where I've been the last couple of months. It's like I've said it in nearly all my YouTube videos that I don't feel like they're where I want them to be, and I hope this video kind of clarifies a bit of where I'm at in terms of that. Yes, the goal going forward, like I said, is to do all that kind of stuff, and hopefully there's no setbacks, but like, they're kind of a thing to be accepted, you know. If I'm doing everything I can in my control to like lower the risk of a setback, then if it happens, it is what it is. And that's my attitude towards this full recovery process. Like, re-injury is probably the number one thing I don't want to happen, but touch wood, it doesn't. But if it did, it wouldn't be my fault, it'd be by external factors. That is the logic that I'm trying to find, and that is the logic that I'm trying to get. This video is coming up on 23.5 minutes, so it will be over in the next minute or two, but I hope you got some sort of insight into me from this. Or if you're going through an ACL injury, I hope you got some sort of insight to what I've thought, and maybe you can relate to some of it, maybe you won't, maybe you'll thought that was interesting, and I suppose that's why I want to do it. If you know anyone that's going through a tough injury or anything like that, or mentally you might feel like they're not there, would you do me a favour and just recommend them this video, because they might relate to it, and you never know. If someone relates to it, you know, send me a message or something and we'll have a chat. But I suppose that's all I have to say. The plan going forward for YouTube is hopefully to get some collabs done, meet some people, get out of the gym, just film my general life. Over the next 3 or 4 weeks, like, I'm not going anywhere, because obviously the plan is to do that rehab things, but yeah, I will try not to harp on too long. I think I have everything, the topics I wanted to cover. The plan for the future is to progress financially, physically, mentally, emotionally, just progress, upward general trajectory, whether that's up and down and up, as long as the trend line is moving in the right direction. I do plan on going back to sport. I do plan on being better than I was before the injury, and I feel like I will be. I feel like mentally, when I get back to sport, I'll be a different person, because before that I was a bit weak mentally, didn't back myself or anything, Whereas now, having put in all of this work to get back to that spot, I feel like when I get there, I'll just be different completely. If you did watch it, thank you very, very much. Let me know what you thought of it. I'd appreciate it if you just sent me a message on Instagram or comment on this, or if you know me, Snapchat me, whatever. But the reason I wanted to put out there is because I want to be honest on social media. And I do I feel like I'm overdoing this, because people are probably going to think it was way worse than it actually was, but it wasn't. But I just wanted to make a video on it. I'll try and get another video out this week. I don't know if I will or not. Who knows? And yeah, if you watched it all the way, thanks, and I'll see you when I see you.